Hello Flosstube and welcome back to another episode. I wasn't sure that there was going to be another one this quickly, but as it turns out, I have a load of stuff that I want to talk to you about and I am making time for it. I'm filming on a Friday morning. I don't normally film on Fridays. I've got about an hour before I've got to go out. I think we can do this and hopefully that means you will be watching it sometime in the first weekend in February. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for those of you who have subscribed to my channel and are returning viewers. I really appreciate that, particularly to people who comment and like and share videos in other places and mention me on your channels. I really appreciate that. And welcome, particularly if you are new here as well. I hope you'll enjoy what you see. I hope you'll consider subscribing and do say hello in the comments. So, first, we have to start with all the things I forgot to talk about last time. Yeah, anyway, first thing I forgot to mention last time, huge thank you to one of my viewers who, I think she must have been watching my Christmas Day video, because on my Christmas Day, well, I did a live on Christmas Day, in fact. Did I talk about it in the live? I think I might have, I can't remember. Anyway, at some point on Christmas Day, I talked about the various Advent things that I had. And one of those was an Advent sticker box from a UK sticker maker. The business was called Elibeth Designs. Shortly after the box arrived in November, she announced that she was closing her business. So I won't put a link to where you can buy her stickers because you can't buy her stickers anymore. But my lovely viewer commented to say that she also used to buy stickers from Elibeth Designs, and she had a monthly subscription for a while and had a stash of stickers that she wasn't going to use, and could she send them to me? And I'm like, yeah, because you know, I've got quite a stash because I had the Advent box and there were quite a lot in that, but obviously at some point it's going to run out. And yeah, I was like, that's amazing, thinking there would be, you know, maybe a dozen sticker sheets, something like that. Anyway, let me just show you what she sent me. So she sent me one of the little folders that you could buy for the stickers, and it had a couple of these, which are the sort of adhesive pockets that you can stick inside, which I haven't done yet. I've started using the stickers, but I haven't actually sorted them out yet. And then this chunk of stickers. I mean, I have to say I was flabbergasted. I don't know if you know how much these sort of things go for, but they are not cheap. Like each sheet, I don't know how much the monthly thing was, but if you bought each sheet separately, they were like £3.50, £3.75, something like that. Like not a small amount of money. And look at that stack. Anyway, and so some of these are, you know, sort of generic stickers. I'm throwing them all over the floor now, so you can see like the monthly labels. Those are upside down. Monthly labels. I mean, I'm not sure I've got a lot of use for a dozen stickers saying 2022, but I definitely have a use for all the monthly labels. And then some of them are more, you know, these ones that she used to sell that were sort of functional sheets that you would use in your planner for checklists and appointments and to-do lists. Some of them more at the decorative end. I can't remember. There's a sort of tracker page, and this one with the really pretty sort of icons that you know, if I've got to put housework in my diary, I'd rather do it with a pretty sticker. I actually had this kit already, but I'm really happy to have two lots of it. Little sort of fun quotes, little pretty decorative stickers to go with it. Just yeah, loads. And because lots of these were from the subscription, there's sort of whole sets that go together. So just look at these sort of watercolors of Italy. Aren't they beautiful? And you can see some of them are designed that you can stick to next to each other if you want and make a bigger one. Yeah, so I mean, just incredibly generous. And then on top of that, she also included one of these little sticker books. Did you have a sticker book when you were about 8 or 9 years old? I mean, I had one, and it was basically a photo album, but you could put stickers in it and then take them off. And these are sort of that, but a bit more sophisticated. So I do have one already, but another one will certainly be helpful. Oh, do you know, I hadn't noticed these before. These were inside this little sticker book, which doesn't have any stuck in it yet. These are not even Ellie Beth stickers. These are the Coffee Monster Co. I've never had stickers from the Coffee Monster Co. And they're cross-stitch ones. That is amazing. Let me just show you those again. I don't know if it's going to focus that close up. Can you see? He's got a little hoop and he's making a cross-stitch heart. I mean, that is just adorable. So thank you so much. And also some of these sort of journaling cards that you can use as like bookmarks or dashboards in your planner or whatever. There's the Italy one that goes with that. So I was really blown away by the generosity in that. I mean, and I you know, I've already thanked the person obviously when they came, but I felt really bad that I forgot to mention it in my last video. So I was like, that must be the first thing I talk about here, because yeah, and it's heavy. I mean, the postage for that wasn't cheap either. Yeah, anyway, they will certainly be well loved and appreciated, and thank you very, very much. Good. Second thing I forgot to talk about last time is this. So I have talked about this before, obviously. This pattern came out early in January. You can buy it from my shop in PDF form, but that is not the most exciting thing ever. The most exciting thing ever is that you can now also buy this pattern, my pattern, from Evertote. If you want a print version of the pattern, the only way you can get that is by going to the Evertote shop. I will put a link below. Caroline of Evertote is selling print copies of this pattern. Obviously, so she's in Canada. If you're in Canada, if you're in the US, you know, that's very reasonable shipping. I think, you know, it's a paper pattern. It's not expensive to ship. Even if you're in the UK, I want to say the shipping from Canada is nothing like the shipping from America. I have bought things from Evertote and found the shipping actually very reasonable. I think I paid £8 for shipping like a project bag and some floss. Now, you know, that's more than you'd pay in the UK, but it's not excessive, I don't think. So even if you're in the UK, do go and have a look, because as well as selling the printed version of the pattern, they are also selling a Roxy Floss Co. floss pack for my pattern. So you can do this in a number of ways. You can, if you've already got the PDF pattern or you prefer a PDF pattern, you can just buy the floss. If you want a printed copy of the pattern, but you prefer to use, you know, DMC, or the chart comes also with a classic Colourworks conversion, or you think you've already got threads in your stash that you can use, you can just buy the printed pattern from Caroline, or you can buy a kit which has the floss and the pattern, the printed pattern from her. So PDF patterns still and always only from me on my Etsy shop, printed patterns only from Caroline, Roxy Floss from Caroline at Evertote as well. I mean, honestly, when I met Caroline and Kerry at the Stitch in London retreat, I mean, it was just pretty exciting to meet them. I was like, you're YouTube famous. I mean, you know, Flosstube famous, and like have a real business and people know who you are, and it's, you know, it was amazing. And then when she was like, and I'd be interested in stocking designs, I was like, no, not much. Because at that point, I think I literally had I had the Christmas patterns and the cat snails pattern, and that was it. And I was working on the elephantine pattern, and they'd seen that, but that was it. And she's like, no, send me something. So I sent her, I was working on this, and I said, look, this is what I think I'd like to tell you. And you may remember I was having real problems trying to work out what to do about the yellow. And I think in the end, I worked it out and I was really happy with it. So it took a while, but then as soon as I sent it to her, she was like, yep, I'm sending that to the printer right now, and we're going live with it, and we'll do the floss conversion tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, that's my pattern available in Evertote. Maybe that'll be the thumbnail. Shall I do it again just in case? Because look, my pattern on sale in Evertote. I can't believe I forgot to mention that in the last video. I think it was because it sort of happened just after 2 videos ago. And so I'd had nearly 2 weeks to get used to the idea, and then I just, yeah. And then I can't believe, as soon as I put the video up, I was like, I can't believe I forgot to mention that. Anyway, there we go. I've mentioned it this time. Right, before we get on to stitching, I have one other thing that I want to talk to you about, and that is Yasmin's Made with Love. You should follow her if you're not following her. She is becoming an extremely prolific designer in a way that I'm just watching and kind of going, I just don't know how you're doing this. But anyway, but also she is training to run the London Marathon in April. She will be running it for MenCap. And one of the ways she has been fundraising for this is by releasing patterns, cross-stitch patterns, which you can receive in exchange for a donation to her fundraising page, which I think is brilliant. And she's doing really well. She's raised, I think last time I looked, nearly £1,500, and her target is 2,500. So she's doing amazingly, really brilliant. And I was thinking, well, how could I help to support that? So I've made a donation and got a pattern and done that, and I plan to start it. And then I was like, well, we should do a stitch along. So I think there's 5 charity patterns. She's got a whole host of other patterns on her Etsy shop, but there are 5 that are only available by making a donation to her Just Giving page. And what you do is you make your donation. When you get your confirmation of it, you send a copy of that to her, you email it to her, and she emails you back with the pattern, so that she can confirm, you know, that you've made the donation. So what I thought, here's what I'm planning to do, and I hope you will join me. The London Marathon is on April the 23rd this year. So I thought that would be quite a good finish date for our stitch along, you know, as she is running towards the finish line, we can be, you know, stitching ourselves towards a finish on one of her charts. So I'm going to say, let's start it 2 months before that. So we're going to start on February the 23rd, and you can stitch along or start along with one or more of her charity charts. And we're going to use the hashtag, I'll put it across the screen here, Yas Marathon Sal. So Yas for Yasmin's Made with Love, Marathon Stitch Along, Yas Marathon Sal. And do feel free to share on Instagram or on any of your social media feeds, but particularly on Instagram, your choice of chart, you're kitting it up, what fabrics are you going to use, what flosses are you going to use, are you going to use the called for ones? I think a lot of her charts are really good ones if you want to, you know, go a bit wild with your colours, choose your own sort of colourway. I think there's lots of potential for that. So share those photos with us, and then share your stitching. And we'll aim to, I think the aim with this is that it is a stitch along, not just a start along. Like, it would be really fun if lots of us were able to post our finished pieces on the day of the marathon. I mean, obviously you can finish it before that, but, you know, wouldn't that be great to have a sort of huge array of photos coming up on Instagram under that hashtag as she is running the marathon? And what a great encouragement to her to be able to get home and then, you know, at some point when she has recovered normality, and I mean, I just can't imagine anyway, you know, to be able to turn on her Instagram and just find that feed full of people who'd stitched her charts cheering her on. So we're going to do that, but also I'm going to do a giveaway. Now, obviously, because this is these are charity charts, I've talked to Yasmin about the best way of doing this, and what we've agreed is I will host the giveaway. When I choose a winner, I will make another donation, and I will send him the confirmation of that donation and then the email address of whoever is the winner. So she won't send the chart to me, she will send it directly to whoever wins the giveaway. And that way, you know, 'cause it's a bit weird with digital charts. Obviously, you know, I could forward you the PDF I already have, but that feels, you know, disrespectful of her copyright. So the way I would prefer to do it is I will contact whoever wins. I'll talk about that in the next video, and then be able to pass on your email address to Yaz, and she can send you a chart to stitch. So we'll do that whatever day it is that this is going live. Maybe the 5th, maybe Sunday the 5th. I might aim for it to go live. Might be Saturday the 4th, don't know. But anyway, I will aim to have my next video up before February the 23rd. So let's try and aim for weekend of February the 19th, 20th. Yeah, it might be Sunday the 20th, it might be Monday the 21st, something like that. And in that video, I will announce the winner. And then hopefully you can get your chart in time for the stitch along starting on February the 23rd. So how are you going to enter the giveaway? Please be a subscriber to my channel. Please go and subscribe to Yasmin's channel as well. Yasmin's Made with Love. I'll put the link below. And please use the word marathon in your comments. You can tell me when you ran a marathon. You can tell me about how you still think Snickers is a stupid name for a marathon chocolate bar. I think it is. Or you can just put the word marathon there, but please don't put the words, you know, giveaway or winner or any of those things that might attract lots of spammers to the channel. Good. I'll put all the details in the description below just so that you're clear. But do enter for that. But do go and make a donation as well and support Yaz in that way. But I just thought it'd be nice for everyone to go and have a look. I will have put a picture here at some point of the charts that she has that are available, but I'll also have links below to where you can go and find out more about that. Right, I think that is all the announcement-y things. So now I have some stitching. So I've had 2 finishes since I last saw you, one of which is a start and finish and fully finish. And that is this. All the Single Ladies. I'm not going to sing. I've been singing a lot while I have been stitching this. So a couple of weeks ago, I put this up as a freebie chart. You can find the link to it through my Instagram bio. I'll put the link to that below. Eagle eyes will notice that what I've stitched is not really what is on the chart. I made a mistake. I was like, I don't care. I quite like it how it's turned out. So on the actual chart, single is a little bit further this way and ladies is a bit further that way, and then you don't get the slight overlap with the G in single ladies. I've stitched mine on, I think it's 36 count. It's Fox and Rabbit Beetroot. I really, really love the colour of this. And I used 1 strand of Sulky. This is a Sulky blendable colourway 4046. And I think that works really nicely. I really like this chart. I think it's a really fun one to stitch at this time of year when there's a whole lot of Valentine's lovey-dovey nonsense out there. I mean, just, you know, it's great being a single lady. You know, and if you liked it, you should have put a ring on it. That's what I say. Yeah, so all the single ladies. If you are a single lady out there, freebie chart, knock yourself out. If you know a single lady, maybe you know a Beyonce fan, maybe you are a Beyonce fan, you know, whatever. It's a freebie chart. Enjoy. So I stitched that on, like I say, the Fox and Rabbit Beetroot. I finished it and I wasn't really sure how I was going to finish it. And then I've been rearranging stuff on my wall, and I'd had this frame with a greetings card in it, actually, really beautiful greetings card from a printmaker who I admire very much. And I was just like, I wonder if that frame is the right sort of size for it to fit in. So I just sort of tried it in there, and then I was like, oh yeah, that works. I'm just going to leave it in there then. So it's just a 6x6 frame. I sort of like, you know how Liz Matthews has those really beautiful text pieces that she does in really large frames with just the text in one corner and lots of negative space. And I think they're really beautiful. And I quite like how that looks on this as well. I think if you did it according to the actual chart, it would be more in the corner rather than spread across. But either way, well, I think it works really nicely in this square frame. So that was my first one, and it was a sort of spur of the moment thing that I was like, do you know, I am going to stitch that chart. I just put it up as a chart, as a freebie that I hadn't stitched, and I was like, no, I think I am going to stitch that. And I started it and finished it. I think I started it on Friday evening and finished it sometime on Sunday afternoon completely. So that was very pleasing. The other finish I've had since I last saw you was this. So I showed this last time, but it wasn't finished. But you can see now, Mothers of Invention. I really love this. It's really fun. In the chart, I'm going to put a page just referencing all the different inventions that there are here and the women who are involved in those. But it's everything from the sort of double helix structure of DNA through to cotton buds, the bra, Wi-Fi technology, globes, pie charts, syringes, birth control pills, foot pedal bins, alphabet blocks, windscreen wipers, and board games. So just a huge range of things. It was really fun to research. And I had a whole list of things and had charted little symbols for quite a few more. And and then the whole thing was massively cluttered and I had to sort of refine it. But I'm pleased with how it's ended up. The stitched model is not perfect. You may be surprised to learn because I'm not very good at following charts. I did restitch some of it, and then there's a bit where, so the mother and the child in the actual chart are one stitch further along, so slightly more border between them and the words, and they sit more neatly on top of the syringe. But I was just like, I'm not restitching them for the sake of that. I think it's fine. The other thing I've done, so as with Spinsterhood, you'll see that I've stitched the people not in anything like realistic colours. And I quite like that because obviously nobody is magenta pink. I mean, nobody. So, it's not something that is limited to, that it's not a white person is what I'm saying, but it's also not a black person or an Asian woman or whoever. This is supposed to be a woman who represents all women and not just mothers, because obviously what we're really celebrating here is inventors. But I was trying to work out how I would convey that. I thought, well, actually, a mother of a child is also a mother of invention in many, many respects. But this isn't about parenthood specifically. It's about women who are brilliant. And so I think I'm sort of calling this in my head, I don't think I've called it anywhere in print, my Fierce Ladies series. So there's Spinsterhood, which you've just seen, there's Mothers of Invention, and there is going to be a third one, Heroines of Their Own Lives. So I don't know when I'll go around stitching that. But I did think, well, actually, some people might want to stitch the people in a way that they identify with, choosing their own skin tone. You might want to have different skin tones for the mother and the child. You might want to be able to distinguish, I don't know, shoes or facial features. So I have stitched, and I will include these in the chart as well, 2 other versions. And you can, obviously use your own choice of colours. You pick whatever colours represent the skin tone that you prefer. But I've just done one where you can see the mother and the child are different, so that you can see exactly where you would change colour. And also I've given them shoes, so if you decide you want to do that, you can see how you would stitch that. Obviously you could put shoes on your pink lady, but I've just given you one example of how that would work. And then on this model, I've also given them facial features and hair and so on. So again, what I'm going to do in the actual chart is I've put a little section in which has just got these people in outline. So no symbols, just an outline of them. And then you can work out for yourself. You know, you can colour in or pencil in, you know, if you want to work out a different hairstyle, or if you want to, I don't know, put this one in a skirt rather than shorts, or give her trousers rather than a dress or whatever. You've got that, so you'll be able to print that out and play around with it and get it to look how you want it to. But for me, I really like these designs that have got a very limited colour palette, and I like using non-human colours for the people, because then I think it's very universal and inclusive. So that is Mothers of Invention. I've ordered a frame for it, and actually I've ordered the frame for heroines as well. So they're all going to be framed in the same style as this, but the frames will be different colours. They're the same frame, but in different colours. And I think they're going to look amazing on my wall all together. When the frame comes, well, no, the frame is due to arrive today. I won't be doing this today, but anyway, at some point I will frame it, I will take photos, I will put the final version of the chart with the extras of these and the, you know, play around with your own people into a pattern, and then it will be available for sale by the end of February. I think that's the timescale I'm looking at realistically. I've got a week of annual leave in late February, and it probably won't happen until then. But I'm excited about it. I was hoping it might be a bit sooner. I might try and go a bit sooner, just because I think there are some mothers for whom this would be a really brilliant Mother's Day gift. And Mother's Day in the UK is it's the third Sunday in March. So I'd like to get it out early enough that someone could look at it and think, oh, do you know what? I'd love to make that for my mother for Mother's Day. So I will try, but I'm not going to promise. I know if you're in America, Mother's Day isn't until May. I'm not sure when it is in other places, but hopefully some of you might think that's a thing you might do. I mean, you know, I wouldn't do it for my mother for Mother's Day. I'm not sure it's what every mother would love, but I think there's probably some mothers out there who would really love that, in celebration of them. But obviously it's not just a mother's thing, it's about brilliant women, fierce ladies. So Mothers of Invention. So I've finished stitching that, haven't fully finished it. What else I've been working on? I have been working on a Saviour's Praise. It's been a bit hit and miss, but there has definitely been progress. I'll try and put in a picture here so you can see where it is now at. I am hoping by the end of February. I don't really want to set myself goals on this one, because, you know, it is just I'll stitch it for as long as it takes piece. But I'm hoping, I'm just looking because it's just here, but it's quite difficult to film from here. I'm hoping to get all the deer and that sort of section that I've been working on finished by the end of February. And then I think I will move to start the borders on either side of that before moving my way up. So I'd like to. It definitely feels like, it feels good to be stitching it again and making some progress on it. I've also been working quite hard on this. So this is Berry Patch by Hello from Liz Matthews, heavily adapted by me. Her original design is square rather than round, and very different colours, and yeah, it's yeah. If you just buy her pattern, you won't be stitching this. But also I wouldn't be stitching this if I hadn't bought her pattern. So there we are. Anyway, you can see I've stitched, I think last time I showed you, I might have stitched the bunny and the bee skep, something like that, and the bit at the top. So I've put in all the stems, all the strawberries, all the butterflies, and all of these. I'm not sure really whether they're berries or buds or whatever, but anyway, I've put them all in. So today, and I was sort of thinking, oh, maybe I'll do this before I film, but there was not time, and if I didn't film now, I wasn't going to film at all. There are some birds to go in here and here and here, so you know, not inappropriate that I've saved those for February. It's not really my February piece, but I have got a few little birds to put in here. and then the bit at the bottom, which will match the bit at the top. I'm undecided. These little hearts at the top, they are supposed to be strawberries. And at one point, I had stitched them as strawberries when I was trying out the sulky and decided I didn't like it on this piece. But I think I quite like them as hearts. So I might just leave them like that. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Hearts or strawberries. And again, you know, there'll be another band with the big yellow flowers in here and 3 little hearts or strawberries at the bottom. So there's not a lot left to stitch on this, and I'm hoping it will be done this weekend. And then I can move on to some February things. This is definitely going to have a hoop finish. I'm probably going to, well, I thought I might try and wrap the hoop actually. Normally I paint the hoop, and I might do that. But I also might have a look and see what fabric I've got and whether I might wrap it just for a different sort of look. We'll see. But I went through a phase of not loving this, I have to say. When I had, so I started at the top and that was all fine. And then I stitched the pink rabbit. Oh, sorry, knocking you off. And then I stitched the pink rabbit and then I stitched the orange bee skep. And at that point, I slightly lost motivation. I was like, I think I've made a really bad choice. I think it just looks really weird and stupid and whatever. And I didn't work on it at all. I mean, you know, I was working on other things and that was fine. But I didn't work on it at all for about 10 days. And then I picked it up again. I was like, well, I do want to do it. So I put in the green vines and then I was like, oh, I don't know. And then once I'd got the strawberries in, suddenly I fell in love with it again. And it was just, oh, okay, I can see how this is going to be now. You know, these two, once they're surrounded with all the rest of the colour, don't look weird. I mean, you know, they look as weird as a pink rabbit's ever going to look weird. But it, you know, as a sort of artistic thing, it kind of fits together as a whole. And even more so once I've finished filling it all in. It's going to, I think it is going to look exactly the way I imagined it would. And I'm very happy with that. It's bright and it's pretty. And for me, you know, these are the colours of spring. I think, you know, the vibrancy of buds and flowers and leaves when they just come out are these, you know, they are the most vivid colours of the year, I think. And yes, there's a lot of green around them, but the green can be like acid at this, well, not quite this time of year, it's still pretty wintry here, but, you know, within a month, these will be the colours that we'll see. And so it'll be really nice to have it on my wall in, yeah, February going into March and April, I think. So, yeah, and I'm really enjoying stitching it now. I do recommend the pattern. You know, if you love the sort of more muted colours and you want to stitch it exactly as Liz designed it, it's a really fun thing to stitch. You know, the stage I'm at now, just filling in each one of these little motifs, the leaves or the flowers or the butterflies, you know, it doesn't take very long. And each one is just fun to do. I've used for the strawberries single variegated floss. It was from Steph Francis. And I think it works, the variegation on that works really nicely for the strawberries. I had charted it, giving them a little bit of 3-dimensional shadowing, but actually I haven't bothered. I've just done them all in the one floss, and I'm, you know, some of them, like this one's a little bit stripier than probably a real strawberry, but it's fine. I'm really happy with it. None of this is super realistic. I know, but it isn't. So yeah, I think it all works just fine. And I think I said this last time on the sort of inside colours of this beehive. Again, that's just one variegated floss. I think that's a Cottage Garden Threads one. I mean, the orange is a bit variegated as well, but the inside of that is very variegated. So there's a real mix of colours in here. There's some Anchor colours, there's some DMC, there's that Cottage Garden one, there's some Steph Francis, there's some classic Colourworks. This really dark red of the berries is a classic Colourworks. There's some Leo and Roxy Floss in the butterflies. So I just, you know, picked stuff out of my stash and had fun with it. Nearly there. Good. Plans. Obviously, I'm going to finish the berry patch. I think I talked last time a little bit about February, and I'm still sort of pondering on where to start with February. I do really want to do the Barbara Anna Funky Bird. I think I do want to do at least one of the button-up birdies, and I'm trying to decide whether to do a bigger bird piece. I quite want to start Ravens at Castle Kerr, but I'm also slightly daunted by it, so I don't know. I might get to it, I might not. I'm going to try actually this month and do the rest of the model stitches for the seasonal Jack series. So the winter Jack that you've seen is a little flag. The spring one I definitely need to get done this month so that I can release it and do the finishing tutorial ready for March. But actually I was thinking I'd quite like to try and just do the summer one and the autumn one as well. I've got the charts done. I think it would, yeah, I'd feel freer if I knew that all of those were stitched. And then I might not do all the finishing of the tutorials this month, but that's fine. Yeah, so some birds, some Union Jacks, finish the Mothers of Invention chart and get that on sale. And then obviously I'll be starting one of Yasmin's charts for the marathon stitch along later in the month. I think I'm going to do Tulips and Stars. That's my favourite. So I need to pick out, I think probably I will do it in slightly different colours, and that'll be fun to pick out. I might do it in more tulipy colours actually. I think that would be quite nice. So those are my plans. I have one other thing to show you, which is this. So this was the art that I have been working on the last few weeks from art class. Yeah, it went through phases. So we started in class working from an image and choosing colours and mixing colours and then painting. These are just coffee stirrers, and then painting those. And then I was like, do you know, I think I had an idea, and the idea was this. And I was like, I'm going to need twice as many coffee stirrers as we painted. And so then I brought them home and did a whole load more, and that was good. And then I went back to art and I was like, right, I know what I'm going to do, and it's all going to be fine. And I started sticking, and I just hadn't measured properly the middle of the canvas, and I had them all just too far down, so they were kind of right at the edge at the bottom with a big chunk at the top, and it just looked awful. And I was like, oh, maybe it'll be fine. And then I'm like, no. So I ended that session just pulling them all off the canvas. So then I brought them all home and found time last weekend to go through and do it properly and then trim off the edges. And I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I think it's bright and fun. It's interesting to look at. I like the sort of burnt orange that I chose to use for the background, and I like the way that arranging the sticks like this gives you this sort of wooden edge. So I'm not worrying about, some of these paint colours are quite similar to this paint colour, but it's fine because none of them are next to it. So you get that sort of natural border to it. I like the slight offsetness, that it's not just a line, and I like that it's on diagonal. So this already has a place on my wall. May not stay there forever, but it'll stay there for a while. And it is bright and cheerful and beautiful. It's a really easy project to do. It's a thing you could even do with children. So these are, like I say, coffee stirrers. You could also use lollipop sticks, you know, the kind that, I mean, you can buy them in craft shops for, you know, 50 for £1 or something. And then these are just acrylic paints. You can use cheap craft acrylics, absolutely fine. You know, we all mixed our colours and chose our palette quite carefully, but, you know, you could just give them, you know, half a dozen colours and say this is what we're using, or, you know, whatever. It's quite fun and it's quite messy doing the painting. That's part of the reason why there's a wooden bit at the end, is that you've got somewhere to hold it while you're painting it. So then they paint them and they dry, and then this is just PVA glued onto a canvas. But, you know, you could just glue them onto a piece of mat board or something like that. It's quite nice to paint it first. And then there's, you know, they can just have fun. There's all sorts of ways you can arrange these that will look brilliant. I used to have a piece, and I think it's slightly fallen apart, and I think I might have thrown it away, where I just had a sort of one layer of these arranged in a sort of wave shape, and they were just held together with foam board on the back so that you couldn't actually see the foam board, and so you just had these, and that was really beautiful. I really liked that. So it's a fun technique, and I'm pleased with my bright, colourful outcome. Right, what else? The only other thing I was going to mention, actually, I don't generally do lots of recommendations for books and TV and film and stuff, but I did want to mention a thing that I have been enjoying lately that I only came across because someone else mentioned it to me, because it's on like mid-afternoon weekdays when I am not normally watching TV, but it's on BBC One, and it's called... I've written down Meet the Maker, and it's not called Meet the Maker at all. Make It at Market, I think is what it's called. I will check and put it in the description below. Anyway, each episode they have 2 crafts people, different crafts. It's not a competition. They each get a mentor. You see them making some of their pieces, a sort of piece that they can make reasonably quickly and cheaply, a piece that would be really high end, something that they really love, and then they get advice from their mentor about basically the business stuff. How do you price it? How do you promote it? Where are you going to sell it? What changes might you need to make it more saleable? And then they get a couple of months to go off and put some of that into practice and come back and see how they've done. So like I say, it's not a competition. It's a mid-afternoon, mid-week program, so it's reasonably at the gentle end of things. Occasionally, one of the mentors will say, I really think you need to make some significant changes, and the person will go, I'm not going to do that. But mostly they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll try that. And then they come back and they've made thousands of pounds. So it's fun, and it's a really wide range of crafts. There's sort of wood turners and furniture upcyclers and glass blowers and basket weavers and fabric printers and just like actual artists as well. So I've been really enjoying those to stitch along to. I don't know how many there are in the series, but I'm not very far. I've watched like maybe 7 or 8, and there's still plenty to go, I think. It will, I'm pretty sure, only be available in the UK, but it is on iPlayer if you have that. Good, I think that is really everything. Now, do go and check out Everto. Buy my pattern, buy the floss pack, but also, even if you don't, just go and have a look at it on the website, because it just makes me so happy to see my pattern and my name on the website there. It's amazing. Do go and check out Yasmin's patterns and donate and join us in the stitch along and join in the giveaway. So don't forget to leave a comment for that, and I will see you hopefully in a couple of weeks' time. Take care.